What is going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So today, this year, 2023, has been a crazy year for a lot of reasons. If y'all remember, I got laid off my previous gig, my job, and it was like a perfect job. I was making a ton of money. I wasn't working a lot. It was super easy and extremely consistent, and I was devastated when I got laid off, like heartbroken, because it was like the ultimate gig, and I still wish I could have that same exact job with same pay. However, at that same company, the job is drastically different. It's not even remotely the same. And let's just say, for example, they didn't lay me off. I know people that still work there, and they're just saying it's not the same. We're not making the same money. It's way different. And someone I know that was still there in the same role, she eventually got laid off anyways, even though she was a top rep. And now I spoke to her last week. She's like, I've applied for 60 jobs, 15 interviews, no job offers, extremely frustrated. She's the only one working in the family. Her severance is up, and now she has no money. And she just had a kid. They fired her while she was pregnant. Well, let her go, laid her off, same thing. Anyways, I probably would have been laid off eventually or been making crap commissions, so would have been looking for a new gig anyways. So I'm kind of glad I got laid off when I did, because I was able to get another job, and my other gig, it took a minute to work out, but it's working good now. I'm number one on the team, making good commissions, doing great. Now, the last 6 months, I've been number one on the team, and I'm doing great. So, that brings us to in essence, the reason for this video is like what I've learned in 2023, in general. So here's the thing I would say in general in life, bad stuff is always going to happen no matter what. Life is not perfect. You're not perfect. Even if you try and do everything perfectly right, shit will happen and put you in a bad situation. But it is from these situations that you have to think about it like new doors are opened. You close one door, another door opens. You learn from your experiences and you grow in life. In my last job and in all the previous jobs for the last 10 years, I've been in the same role. In essence, it is like a lower tiered role in my field of work. And I was always hesitant to move up in my, field of work. And only when I got laid off and I was searching for jobs and I did tons of interviews, people didn't want, like a veteran in my field, because it's usually not a role you stay in for, more than 2 years. And it really felt me forced, like I cannot stay like this. I have to move up. And so that's what I did, and I didn't know if I'd be good at this. It was drastically different. But, it definitely helped me learn and grow a lot and, really become a good salesman. And so, long term, it probably was for the best for sure. Helping me progress in my career, develop new skills and so forth at a really good company. So, you have to get through the tough times. There are brighter days in the future. Now, the economy, still crap in my opinion. It sucks. But there's not much you can do. The powers that be, folks. Also, I wanted to show you guys how I arrange these guys. So I put him there, one climbing up the leg, one climbing up right here. He's holding one, about to smush it, two in the head. Details matter, folks. Not just in statues, but your display and in life. Details truly matter. It's all about the details. Details in statues, the little stuff, details in your career, in your family, noticing details in general and everything in life. So in terms of the statue world, one thing I've really, come to, just realize right now, especially, pre-ordering a statue is almost stupid. It takes a year to 2 years for a statue to ship. And right now, with the way the statue market is, if you pre-order something, unless it's a really low edition size, or you're just like, I will get you, you're basically risking getting it cheaper by pre-ordering it. and you're rarely risking losing out by pre-ordering it. You know, for example, right now, J&D Wonder Woman, everyone pre-ordered her, you know, and she sold out, but you can still easily get her right now. So you've had your money, your deposits locked up for a year when you could still just order her at retail cost right now, in essence. Or, you know, there's so many examples of silicone busts. You know, I think a silicone bust is the absolute worst thing in the world to pre-order, honestly. Unless it's an ES of 100, do not pre-order a silicone bust ever. It is best to wait until it's just in hands, then buy it. Now, I understand the concept behind, you know, especially for like retailers, if they don't get pre-order deposits, they're not going to be able to afford it, you know. But I only think, in essence, about like my own financial well-being, not others. I have to think of myself, and I don't like locking away, you know, $300 to $1,250, especially on the silicones. It's like $1,250 deposits. It's a lot of money to lock away. You could throw that in a high yield savings for 2 years, and then once it's released, then you pay for it. You know, I don't think we're ever going to see the days like Infinity Wonder Woman, where, you know, like she sold out. Same with like the Terminator bus. Those days are over. We're getting quite saturated now in the silicone market, and there's lots of options. The edition sizes are higher. You know, generally now they're like at a minimum 200 to 400, 500. And so I think pre-ordering a silicone nowadays is honestly just stupid. Don't do it. Just wait for it to release. You'd likely get it sooner and cheaper. And now, you know, you really got to understand the popularity of the statue and the character, because it will dictate if it will go on Sideshow sales or Prime 1 sales. You know, look at how popular the movie is, how much hype there is around the statue. Look at forums, you know, like Statue Forum. See how long the posts are on that piece. If they're, you know, super long and everyone's hype, it's probably a piece you might want to pre-order. But if there's hardly any like news about it, I'd only pre-order if the edition size is extremely low. You know, because nothing's worse than you deciding, you know what, I no longer want that statue, and now you lose out on your deposit. And any deposit amount hurts, honestly. Even if it's $100, that's still $100. It sucks to lose $100. Like, imagine you had a $100 bill and you just dropped it and all of a sudden it's gone. You'd be pissed. It's the exact same thing. You're throwing your freaking money away. So yeah, I am a big advocate of not pre-ordering anymore, outside of, you know, a few exceptions. You know, like the Prime 1 Terminator line, I'm pre-ordering all of those. I don't want to potentially risk those selling out. And I have noticed some Prime 1 statues have been selling out lately. You know, Uncharted, Witch King, they've been selling out. So if it's ever low stock and it's still in pre-order status, I would say just pre-order it. You know, but if there's no set edition size, it's not low stock, no point in throwing your money down just yet. So you just really got to gauge the situation if you want to pre-order it. Because I've pre-ordered statues, paid full retail, and then all of a sudden I see them 50% off, and it just drives me absolutely crazy. You know, so nowadays it's just tough to pre-order stuff. And choosing the right contact, retailer, website to pre-order is so crucial. Nothing's more annoying than someone getting a statue 1 year before you, and you ask your retailer, and they're just like, I'm not sure when I'm going to get it, but it is coming. That to me is one of the most frustrating things in the world. And it's just like, you almost feel scammed at that point, and you're just like, just freaking refund my money at this point. But then they refuse, and so you're like, okay, well, I have been scammed because they can't tell me when I'm going to get it. They have my money. They refuse to release it. They don't know when they'll get the statue. That to me is a big no-no. And when retailers do that, it tells me, okay, yeah, I'm going to stop buying from them unless it's in stock. You know, in stock, you never have to worry about that crap. But when it's pre-order and people have had it years before you, that drives me absolutely bonkers. You know, and another big thing right now, anytime I'm buying a statue, I'm really thinking hard, am I going to keep this long term? Is this part of the end game? Now, sometimes you guys will see statues in my collection that are like, wait, why did you buy that? I didn't buy it. Simple as that. You guys know as well as I do, YouTubers get free statues for promotions. Simple as that. So, yeah. I didn't buy that. That was a promotion piece. But I kept it because I love it. I actually think it's really awesome in my display. So, but yeah, but if I'm ever paying for something, which is 99% of the time, I think real hard. Am I going to love this piece 2 years from now? How is it going to look displayed in my collection? Will it look good down low, or does it look terrible? Frankly, I don't like that down low or that, but I'm limited. But as a display as a whole, I think it's phenomenal. Sure, I would love to put King Ghidorah there, raise those two on each side, but then that messes up this entire display where it's like, okay, you got Sauron, then a dragon, and Lord of the Rings is like this. It messes up the display. So it's a quite difficult one for sure. I've even considered, what if I did, Monsterverse over here, all top shelf. God, it wouldn't work. You could do Lord of the Rings technically on this entire shelf, and then do Transformers all down low, and then do Monsterverse all above. That would actually maybe work. Let's think about it. Those two would take up a shelf. Those two... See, the problem is you got these 36 inchers, which, there's 4 shelves here, 3 shelves here, but it's all top and bottom. It won't work. There's just no way for me to get this above without ruining any of my displays, honestly, because this is like a perfect Lord of the Rings display. And I will say, the display is more important than the individual statue in most cases. What that basically means is, how does the display look from 10 feet away as a whole? If one statue, even if it's a grail, but it looks super out of place, I'd rather get rid of it so all the display looks like it matches. I want the displays to match both scale and theme. I think that's absolutely crucial. That's why it's best to stick to just one line. I'm not a fan of mixing, let's say a 1/4, then all of a sudden you have a half scale, then you have a 1/6, and they're all from different companies where the details look different. I don't like that. I prefer when it's all the same detail, same scale like this. That to me is perfect. But let's just say, instead of doing that Legolas, and I like Infinity Studios Legolas Bear, I throw the half scale there. You know how ridiculous that would look to have a half scale like this tall right there? It just doesn't work. So for me, the display as a whole, the line is more important than the individual statue. That's why it's best to stick to lines and themes. And a theme generally needs to go the entire display, or just the top, or just the bottom, or half. For me here, this is kind of this is part of Lord of the Rings, but in essence, it's just different movies per thing, and then all Dark of the Moon, all T1, all T4. Technically that's T5, he's still in T4, so it works. Anyways, 2023 definitely has been a crazy year. I've definitely learned a lot, grown a lot, collected a ton. And I swear every year I'm trying to tell myself I'm going to collect less and less. Now, I truly do believe 2024 I will be collecting quite a bit less. Just because my space is so freaking limited, where it's in this room, I really only want to add a Hawkeye, 1/4, and maybe a Hawkeye bust. But once we get Thor bust, this wall's complete, unless we get a Hawkeye bust. Then I'll move Venom, throw Widow and Hawkeye there, move Spidey here. I'll probably do Venom over here. But yeah, so I'm just so limited on space that the only thing I truly can do is upgrade statues. If a far superior version of that statue comes out, I can upgrade. But it also does need to match, the line and look good. But the thing is, I'm also feeling the majority of my statues are already extremely good and very upgraded. Very few statues in my collection are look old and outdated. I've pretty much been selling off all the outdated stuff for the last 3 years. So that's why I truly feel that my collecting days are numbered, where I feel once I get the final Terminator 1/3 in, at that point, I'll be okay, I'm done. And also, of course, Celine 1/3. When we get Celine 1/3, the Terminators, I'll be okay, I'm done. If I happen to have any pre-orders at that point, most likely I'd just cancel them all unless they're part of a line. But if they're one-offs, they gotta go. Anyways, folks, so hopefully 2024 will be a better year. You know, we obviously have the election in the United States. So fingers crossed that Trump wins and we can get this economy back on track. And if the economy's back on track and people have more money, then the statue secondhand market can be improved. And then doing sort of like upgrades or changing out statues won't be as such a hassle. Because, you know, 2-3 years ago, when I wanted to, let's just say, sell 5 statues and then get different statues, it wasn't that hard. I sold all my comic-based Marvel statues, if you remember, it was like 2 years ago. And then I bought all these busts. Started buying all of these silicone busts. It wasn't that hard. I sold them quickly for the price I wanted. You know, I didn't have to put it at 50% MSRP. I generally put them at what I paid plus shipping, or even a little more. And I sold them all within a few weeks. No problem. Messages right and left. Where now, if you were to do the same thing, trying to sell it for the prices I sold it for, you'd be sitting on them for years. I want to get back to the good old days when I could do that. If I want to sell that Groot and Rocket and I sell it for what I paid, I want to be able to get my money back instantly. I want 4 messages that same day, you know, instead of me having to list a Grail and nobody's interested. Although I'm kind of just thinking of just keeping Hulkbuster, saying screw it. Just get Black Adam there and just say screw it. Who cares if the display's a little off? It's a badass piece. It's basically the Marvel Shockwave. Even if it doesn't truly look good down low, it still looks awesome. You know, and it's such a pain to ship it. I can't even get shipping rates. Anyways, folks, hope you all enjoyed this video. Feel free to drop a comment for, you know, some of the things you might have learned in 2023. Any advice you would probably give yourself at the beginning of the year. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.